Hi Scorpio, welcome to your reading. Let's see what October looks like for you. Yes, some major things happening here. We have Mars, your traditional ruler, in Gemini, and it is going to go retrograde on October 30th. So there's going to be a lot of topics surrounding the subconscious, the limitations you put on yourself wherever you self-sabotage, some restrictions, and also it is going to fill you with renewed strength that comes from an internal place. So it becomes kind of unshakable for you. You're already a very strong sign, but this year is kind of renewing your ability to persevere. Also, there is an eclipse in your zodiac. That is on 25th, and it's going to be quite pivotal because the south node is in your space. There is something that will be released and is going to kind of birth a new version of yourself. So let's see what exactly all of these are pertaining towards you. Okay, so we have Ace of Pentacles. That's already a new beginning, right? As we were talking about. This could be in a material sense, financial sense, or a place that you want to establish yourself. So it could be a home as well. The eclipse is going to trigger the square between Saturn and Uranus. It has been going on and off since December of 2021. So topics that began around that time regarding home and family and also partnerships that can come back around. And this is making space for a new start or a new foundation. This can also correspond to self-esteem and respect because we have the North Node in Taurus, and Taurus is the zodiac for self-esteem and respect as well. Okay, we have Eight of Cups. This is emotional purging and releasing, surrendering of control. Cups being your element, a water sign, is talking about releasing something that is just toxic and does not work for you anymore. You're leaving your attachment to it, or you're leaving the circumstance itself, depending on what the restriction is in your life. But you're moving towards something that is very bright, and there's a lot of opportunities in that place. New projects can come about, new ideas which can be grounded into reality, that can come around as well. Just new opportunities surround you beyond this point. And also the sun is a symbol of clarity and empowerment. I normally don't say that for the Eight of Cups, but I'm really drawn to the sun here. You're moving towards a heightened state of self-empowerment by leaving things behind, and I really feel like this is voluntary. Okay, you're leaving it on purpose because it simply just does not suit you anymore. Okay, then we have the Nine of Wands. We were talking about perseverance and persistence. Your sign is very determined, very, very strong, and highly resilient. When it's a water sign and it is fixed, it's sort of like a reservoir of strength that however much you discover, it just does not end. There's always more strength that you can find within yourself. There could be some obstacles that you are facing, or it is something that has been going on for a while, okay? So it's not some new thing that comes up. It's kind of the finalization of an ongoing struggle. It can be internal or external, but Nine of Wands is like this: persevere, keep on going, you're near the finish line. So don't give up yet, and you will find your success, okay? But at the same time, it says that if you've been holding yourself really close and guarding yourself up a lot, and that is causing you some emotional harm, then it might be time to let go of the resistance. Okay, Eight of Cups, like I said, is surrendering. You're like giving up on something, not in the way that, you know, you're like, oh, I can't do it, so I must give it up. But it can indicate like habits, right? Like the habit of thinking negatively about yourself, or the habit of keeping on going even when you get a lot of indications that it is just not the right path for you, things like that. So here, I feel that you are becoming more open to receiving cues from your external environment, and you are staying strong without needing to keep your guards up. That would be the most positive way that this plays out. Yes, and we have the King of Wands, which is that empowerment energy that I was getting. There is this magnetic charm, charisma that just comes out here. There's a lot of knowledge and awareness. There's this lion standing here, so it kind of symbolizes the strength energy too. which is the major arcana version of the Nine of Wands as well. So interesting links going on in your reading. But there is this, how do I say this? This burst of creative inspiration that wants to establish itself. Okay, it is a flow that is automatically spinning you into the King of Wands personality. You're taking more authority of your life. You have more power within yourself. You're taking charge of your situation. Okay, I'm getting this message. Control versus taking charge. Okay, this is like the Plutonic idea. So Pluto can represent both of these things, and both of them have their own type of power, right? Control has a type of power, and taking charge has a type of power. But when we try to control circumstances in ourselves, then there is a rigidity to it, and we're not open to different avenues where we could flourish if we had kept our minds open. On the other hand, taking charge of things is taking the initiative and making use of whatever opportunities that present themselves to you. So that is a place of empowerment, and the other one is a place of power. Okay, both are just as strong, but one leads to openness and the other can lead to close-mindedness as well. So the Ace of Pentacles, because you have so many new opportunities for new foundations and growth, it is important to leave yourself open and not resist the information that is coming towards you. Wow, quite strong. I mean, not surprising, it is strong because the eclipse is in your sign. I mean, it is a time of fateful changes, major things happen, and usually the tangible outcome of these eclipse energies show up 6 months from their onset. So around May, you should be able to see the full results of what the eclipse brought, whether it is internal or external. King of Wands is also talking about the Martian energy. In Gemini, when it is retrograde, it might be going over certain lessons that have been skipped in the subconscious, or identifying more of your shadow qualities and identifying how they are actually gifts for you, making use of the hidden talents that you already have instead of, blocking that path from yourself. And that's how you're becoming more whole, more aware, and ready to take on the world, basically. And it's interesting, the Eight of Cups, she's moving towards the Sun. Sun is Leo, that's the planet for Leo, and this King of Wands is very Leo as well, so perhaps you have a lot of Leo placements, and Leo is in your 10th house if you go by the rising sign, so that would represent some career changes or shifts in your public status as well. We have get back to elemental, which means get back to the basics. So ground yourself, cleanse yourself, root yourself, do like the very basic stuff, okay? It's the little things that can get you very far. This is what it's talking about. And if you don't fix the foundation, then anything that you build on top of it is going to be steady. It's not going to be steady, and inevitably there is going to be a tower moment, because the tower moment happens when something is unsteady. So it's important to go back to the basics, sift through what you already know, see, and make sure that the particulars are on point, and revise and plan ahead, and so on and so forth. Get the basics right and then move on from there. Then we have prosperity. Sisters are happiness and joy. You might be connecting with your siblings who are kind of a source of joy for you, sharing a harmonious connection with them. It can also be a harmonious connection within your friend group who are able to help you kind of come out of difficult emotions. Eight of Cups can kind of have that storm of emotions going on because you're purging something, you're leaving an old situation behind, and now you have to move on to a whole new emotional state. So in between, it can feel kind of unsure or unknown because you don't know what's on the other side yet. So here, your friends and your siblings are a very helpful influence in this month. And it's just saying that when you act from a place of abundance, you're able to attract more abundance as well. When you're able to keep your mind open and be grateful for the things that are coming towards you, and also for the things that are leaving your life, because things that are going to leave, they're just not meant for your highest good, okay? So moving on from this point, you're just going to be more powerful, more happy with yourself, with your achievements. You're going to feel that sense of pride, success, and achievement as well. And prosperity is just going to follow because you are taking charge. You are going towards it, and you're not thinking, oh, what if I cannot? Oh, what if it can't happen? If something goes wrong, and so on and so forth. You're not expecting the worst. You're not acting on the worst. You are acting on the best that can happen, and you're taking matters into your own hands. So prosperity follows suit. Absolutely empowering. Then we have Creator Water, which is your zodiac, so not surprising, and it's basically stepping into that emotional power. It also talks about the subconscious has so much information, and it has nuggets of gold and treasure as well. So identifying your emotional patterns and releasing toxic emotions and habits and patterns is just going to help you gather more clarity and happiness and satisfaction in life. This indicates going with the flow of things, surrendering to the flow of things, but being very conscious in the flow. So mindfulness and meditation and cleansing, being near water, the beach, something like that. It can be very, very wonderful for you. It can help you come back to earth and can help you understand your own emotions better as well. Okay, then we have Nourish the Sacred Feminine, which again corresponds to the water energy. And Scorpio is as well very deeply intuitive, like with the moon sign here. Some of you could be watching for your moon sign. But this basically indicates, again, going with the flow and understanding what is coming towards you, staying in the attractive position instead of the doing position, because you will be doing soon. Okay, it's kind of let the ideas come to you, let the opportunities come to you, let things flow towards you, and then take advantage of what comes to you. Okay, gorgeous. Then we have Constellation, which is that like-minded spirit and the tribe that you have on earth and also in the spirit realm. Either way, you are supported. You have a lot of guides and ancestors and other beings that are not incarnate here who are looking out for you. It's like you know, look up at the stars and you will find your family. It's sort of like that. You belong in the universe. On the other side, it's also talking about the siblings and the friends that we talked about. And another thing that it mentions is the creative talent that you have, and you're able to connect the dots and make sense out of things, and that's what allows you this liberation as well. There is like a whole new perspective that comes through, or there is an understanding of what already has been set in motion, and that is super, super empowering and unleashes more of your creative energy, to be honest. Then we have Entropy. And not surprising again, because eclipse energies are quite chaotic. It is always recommended to not begin something new or establish something new on eclipse day, because it carries forward that chaotic energy along with the project. So think about it and plan it out and just jot down your ideas, perhaps, if you get a lot of those. If you have a lot of emotions as well, it can feel kind of disconcerting and you might not know exactly what that means, or where is it leading, and what the consequences might be. Entropy is chaos, but through chaos there is order. That's what it seems like there are random dots. If you don't connect these lines, it's just some random dots in the space, right? That's what entropy is showing as well. But you are connecting the dots. You are making sense of what has been chaotic. Like I said, this is not anything new that you're dealing with. It's something that has already begun, but you're making sense of it and kind of finalizing that chapter, and you're getting to a whole new state of being for yourself. Order within chaos. And we have Black Body. I want to read this one from the book. I don't get this often, but this basically is kind of absorbing of energies and not emitting anything. But let me see. Black Body. Imbalance between giving and receiving. Okay, it absorbs all light and energy which hits it. Nothing is reflected or can pass through its opaque body. Its surface quickly absorbs all electromagnetic radiation which hits it before a longer process of emitting it. It has a spectrum and intensity that is solely determined by the temperature of the body. In other words, the radiation that the black body decides to emit depends on itself only and its own surface's nature. So interesting, isn't it? Wow. Then it says, in the example of the sun, it only takes 2 seconds to cross the radius of the sun at the speed of light, but in reality it takes about 1 million years for the energy produced at the center of the sun to be released. This time is incomparably greater as the energy takes a random path, which is incessantly interrupted by the absorption and re-emission of photons. So, all in all, what I'm getting here is that the things that begin now are going to have like a long time to play out. Okay, so the project to begin now, that will, work itself out for like a year, for example, or you're working on it for a year because you want to get it right, and you're, like it said, right, there are different disturbances and interferences that happen. I don't feel that as like a negative thing that's kind of trying to stop you from completing what you want to, but it feels like there will be more information that comes, and that is only going to make it even better. Okay, and the black body can also indicate that things that you have been absorbing and accumulating within yourself, you're very sensitive. Okay, as a water sign, a very deep water sign, fixed sign, you can absorb a lot, which is why I think the cleansing is super, super important for you. Going near water and rejuvenating your emotional health is going to help you feel much better about yourself. It is going to help you kind of understand what is going on in your internal waters. Okay, and that way you can slowly start releasing things that are just not part of you, or it's sort of like you're working on something big, but you're releasing your projects one by one instead of all at once. So it's not one big project, but it is divided into little chunks. That's what this can symbolize as well. Okay, any negative energies that you've absorbed as well, just, practice some type of cleansing or meditation. That would be highly beneficial, regardless of what the circumstance you're dealing with is. It's going to help you release things that you've absorbed without really understanding. With water signs, it's very common that they absorb other people's energies and other people's issues as well, without recognizing it. So whenever you cleanse, you kind of allow that to go away, which is not yours. Okay, then we have power and healing. There you go. To get what you love, you first have to be patient with what you have. Yeah, this is fully understanding the things that you have, including your own skills, okay? Respecting yourself and appreciating yourself for what you bring to the table, recognizing what you bring to the table, and feeling empowered in the self that you are, and the journey that you've gone through. Gorgeous. We have gratitude. So gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Yep, so we talked about gratitude as well, right? In the beginning, I remember saying that. So you're being grateful for the things, yes, you're being grateful for the things that are leaving your life, and also which is beginning in your life. Because things that are leaving, just not meant for your future anymore. You've gained whatever you needed to gain from that, and it's now time to move on to something much bigger and better. We have dangerous pleasure. This corresponds with the devil energy, according to me. And it's sort of like there is a sense of overindulgence or feeling of entrapment for multiple reasons. Okay, different people have different scenarios, but it can be like addictive habits or obsessive tendencies, as is, natural for a Scorpio to go through in some part of life. So this can be talking about that. If those habits are not benefiting your growth, then it becomes dangerous in that way. A little bit of indulgence does not hurt, but when it goes overboard, then that becomes a problem. So here you might be wanting to release certain habits, and again, toxic attachments as well to people or circumstances, or even in your own mindset and perspective of how you see the world. Then we have unanimity and harmony. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. That is absolutely wonderful, because this talks about making sense of things, right? There is harmony, meaning you're in flow of things, you're understanding what the flow is in the first place, and you're able to go with that intentionally. So entropy and constellation here is exactly that. It seems all chaotic, but you can make sense of it. And how each and every one of you watching is making sense of it is very different from one another, but it still makes sense to you. So there is just a complete understanding. It can also talk about, like I said, you're talking with your friends and your siblings, so you might be expressing yourself, and there is harmony. So it's not like your close people who you're truly meant to be with, who are your tribe. They're not disagreeing with you, they're supporting you, but it is still your journey to go through. Wow. Okay. Next we have new moon with begin. The eclipse that is taking place in your sign is a solar eclipse and is a time of new moon. It marks for completely new beginnings. And we have the full moon. Okay. The full moon is about completion, release, surrender, and also about heightened intuition. Okay, the new moon is kind of that quiet knowing. It's very subtle and very hard to identify unless you zone in on it. But the full moon is like loud and clear. You have trouble sleeping. There could be some strong dreams that come through. This could take place at the same time. But we also have another eclipse, which is a lunar eclipse and is a time of full moon, 2 weeks from the Scorpio eclipse. And that is going to take place in Taurus, which is your opposite sign. So you will already start feeling that as well. It's kind of a double eclipse energy, to be honest. But it is so much like it's closing a cycle so that you can begin something new, okay? It's very, very powerful, needless to say. It's quite apparent. Okay, so we have problems to be resolved with the ink pot. Then we have weeping willow, family sorrow. Yeah, I did say the Saturn square Uranus is being activated again. And that is happening in your 4th house. And the 7th house, 4th is about home and family, and 7th is about other people. So it can be multiple different interpretations, like the upbringing you've had has an impact on the way that you communicate with other people, or the type of relationships that you form. It could be a toxic environment while growing up, or an unsteady or a cold, detached type of environment while growing up, which then propagates into your relationship life. And even though you want to have a strong attachment, you also end up relating to toxic people who you don't understand in the beginning. You don't expect them to be toxic, but then you see that it's still the same pattern, things like that. So it's a problem that needs to be resolved, and it's a problem because you know it's not working for you. On another level, it is about finding a home, for example, and you and your partner are not agreeing with the type of home that you want to buy, or you're just not feeling stable and you're looking to other people who can provide you that stability. Yeah, and it can just be that you have some issues with your family that want to be resolved. So it's kind of up to you to what extent you want to take that and how you wish to resolve it, if it can be resolved, right? If not, then it is about detaching from an internal space. You're not attaching your self-worth to their behavior in any way. Okay, things like that. Then we have, you will be playing a different role. Yeah, one of empowerment. My goodness, you're so strong moving on from this point that you're a leader. Okay, you're just a leader beyond this point. There's no stopping that. It's, yeah. Wow. Then we have news of a birth or a new business opportunity. So some of you could be giving birth, or you want to conceive. Others, this can be talking about the project that I was talking about earlier. Then we have tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. Of course you are. Like I said, in the time of transition, it can feel a little bit like, am I headed in the right direction or not? Or what is happening? Do I have support? Or can I have some guidance, please? Things like that. It's very natural in a state of transition, but also keep in mind that you have a lot of support around you. Definitely do. In the spiritual world or in the material world, it doesn't matter. You just have that support. And yes, if you ask for help, you will receive answers, and you will go ahead. You are on the right path, and you will be headed in the right path as long as you're clear about what you're looking for. Like with the 8 of Cups, you're looking to the light, you're looking to clarity, you want to be empowered, all of those goals. You will get there, okay? Slowly but surely, you will get there. And when it comes to working on subconscious topics, like even getting therapy, going for counseling, things like that, or even counseling yourself and dealing with the issues that have been recurring for you, that is very possible moving on from this point. And that is likely to show its full results 7 months from now, when Mars is then moving direct. 7 months from, hang on. Yes. Okay. Let's see. That would be in actually February, so 7 months it is going to stay in Gemini, and it is going to move ahead in the very beginning of Feb, but it has the shadow period as well, so it's kind of going to coincide with whenever you see the eclipse results, with the Mars turning direct as well, fully, and moving ahead from Gemini too. So yeah, that's coincidentally all of these things kind of line up. So Scorpio, Sagittarius, Moon, and the 5th house. Okay, so looking at your inner child, looking at the visions and the philosophies, the emotional attachments and understandings that have been developed when you were a child, and how that is still impacting you in your present day. Also, how does that impact the perception you have of the world, or how do you relate with your emotional intelligence that is coming up? Some of you could be working on your shadow work, which links to your inner child, and you might be paying more attention to what your inner desires are. This is also talking about creative self-expression, and you're aiming to express yourself much more clearly and much more authentically to who you are, and not holding yourself back in any regard. 5th house can also talk about children, right? So some of you can be conceiving. If you don't want to, maybe use protection, but some of you can be conceiving, or someone in your family could be conceiving. I don't think so, but could be you, definitely. Or it's a creative project, like we mentioned earlier. So we have 2 leaves, a peacock, and a bird. Okay. This is again about expressing yourself. The 2 leaves talk about knowledge and wisdom, and also talk about abundance and rooting yourself down. There's just more prosperity that you feel beyond this point. Again, slowly but surely, it's not like all in one day. But you will definitely be flourishing beyond this point. With the peacock as well, express yourself, right? You know who you are even more authentically. There is wisdom that comes from these experiences that you have been through, and you're ready to make a fresh start. There is a healing of things because of this wisdom. Water symbolism can also indicate healing, and with the Nourish, the sacred feminine, I'm also getting that feeling of sacred protection too. This bird here is making me think that you're biding your time to say what you want to say. Okay, you want to pick the correct time, and you want to choose the correct words in order to express how you're really feeling, whether that is to yourself or to your friends or to your family members or whatever. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords. The Strength card. We were talking about that. That's interesting. Okay, we have 7 of Cups. Okay, Strength. You know what? Let me just zoom in. Yes. Okay, then we have Knight of Swords, like we mentioned. And we have the 9 of Wands again. So persistence is really going to be tested here. Your perseverance. Oh God, not surprised, but yeah. That's just something that is. With the Strength card as well, there is a quiet power, extremely powerful, because it's when it is internal, you know, there's like a whole load that is there. You have so much internal power, and you're kind of holding it in. Okay, and once again, it is about patience. You have to act at the right time. You have to speak at the right time in order for you to receive the results that you are hoping. So you know, you're a strategist. Your zodiac is also very strategic. It's kind of like, let's see what could go wrong, and let's prepare for that as well. And you have to look at different avenues and incentives and intentions and all of those things. There are so many factors that you take into account before taking one step, that it takes you time because you want it done well. Okay, you're a fixed sign. You don't want to keep doing something again and again and again. But once you do something, you want to do it right. So with the Strength and the double Nine of Wands, it's kind of like hold, and then go with the Knight of Swords when the time is right, when the winds are correct, so to say, because Swords is the air sign. When the winds are correct, make your move, speak your words, and also make your choices. With the Seven of Cups, there are like many different possibilities. You might be evaluating different scenarios of taking action. Like, let's say you have a money-making idea. It's not enough to have an idea. You need to also execute it perfectly, like the King of Wands would like. Right, so that's going to take some time, multiple perspectives, a lot more information, and so on. Okay, so time of renewed strength. You're tapping into another whole level of reservoir of energy within yourself. Okay, let's see your guidance for the month ahead. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pick the rest up. So we have Cardinal, stand tall and proud, see the leadership role unfolding ahead of you. Okay, so that obviously is very clear. You're taking the leadership role in your life. You're gathering more personal power as well. And we have Hummingbird. Yes, release what you've been carrying and lighten up. New joy is on the way. Yes, of course. If that is not clear, I don't know what is, right? This is so clear and aligned with whatever we talked about so far. I really hope these messages resonate and help you out as well. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box in the comment below. I wish you the very best. Take care. See you later. Bye.